$3,200 in car payments? Oh my gosh! What are you driving?
Oh, here we go. Yeah. This ain't even my car. Somebody let me use it, bro.
Oh, these repos.
This is the crazy world of the American auto market. American auto loan debt is at an all-time high, now standing at $1.6 trillion.
Trillion?
And the crazy part, that's enough to buy every single residential home in New York City and still have money left over. So what do? We've built a society that pretty much requires a car to live in, but cars are now more expensive than ever. Americans have always had a strange relationship with vehicles. They're not just a form of transportation to us. They are status symbols, freedom machines, and for most, a measure of success. Cars allow you to travel the country and explore everything America has to offer. And they've been a staple in our lives since the first car rolled off the line at Henry Ford's factory. Not only that, but we're trained from a young age that a cool car means that someone is doing well. If you see your neighbor pull up in a brand new Lamborghini, he must be doing something right. But as financing and leasing options have become easier to get, that's starting to flip on its head a little bit. You see, the cars that used to provide us freedom and a journey through life are now turning into prisons of monthly payments, sometimes ruining people's lives off of a dumb decision they made just to look cool in front of some of their friends. But how did we get here? How could something so amazing turn into a trap for so many? And how did the car dealership industry turn into a loan dealership industry? To explain this further, let's break down what exactly happens when you show up at a dealership to purchase a brand new car. At the dealership, there are four main characters. Number one, you, the buyer. Number two, the dealer. The guy sitting across from you at the desk trying to sell you on that new SUV you just have to have. Number three, you have the manufacturer of the car. And finally, number four, the most important player that hides in the shadows, the bank. This is who really runs the show in the background. And if you're not careful, they will all work together to pull the hood over your eyes and sign you up for a loan that will leave you holding the bag in 5 years. And truthfully, we've seen this before. Remember back in...
I've been cautious now of buying cars. Because if you think about it, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, on one end, you're paying interest on the car. Let's say you have fucked up credit and you're paying 8% interest on the car, right? The car's going to depreciate every year. Around, like first year, 30%, depending on what car. So you just lost 40% in value. If you think about it, it's like you're paying on one end and you're losing value on the other. You're losing both ways. You're getting fucked on both sides. So it's not really the best decision. Like, I really want a nice car, but if you looking at it financially, is it really responsible? No.
In 2008, when realtors were selling homes to individuals that might not necessarily have been able to afford them, but the banks bent the rules just to write another mortgage.
Car dealerships, they're like, oh, bad credit, no problem. They'll approve you for anything. You could have a 400 credit score and they'll still approve you. These are, because if you don't pay it, then the banks, they get it back. They have tow trucks that go around that just repo the cars. If you don't pay it, if you're like behind 3, depends on what bank. Some of it's like 1 payment, boom, car towed. Some of it is like 3. They give you like 3 months.
And then all of a sudden, the whole house of cards came falling down. Car sales are kind of the same way. You walk into the dealership and you're approached by a salesman. That guy's job is to get you to feel an emotion about a car, get you to fall in love with it, or think about how safe your kids will feel in the back seat, or how cool you'll look pulling up to dinner in that new convertible.
They got me back then. I had a WRX STI. It was like start of COVID, I forget. It was like sometime during COVID. Once I bought it, the car prices actually went up. It skyrocketed. I put 10,000 miles on it, and I still sold it for a profit. The only problem was my insurance was kind of high. I was young, sports car. But at that time, I got lucky. I got in, I got out. I still made money from it. Like, you're not supposed to make money. That was like once in a lifetime. You're never going to make money on a car like that anymore. On a new car, once you buy it, you're losing money, but that was once in a lifetime. That's never going to happen again. So I learned my lesson from that, and definitely never buying a new car again. Now I just drive some regular daily driver. Cars, not it.
The tactics are simple, but humans are pretty simple-minded. If you tell us we're going to look cooler, feel safer, or feel wealthier, we can be easily convinced. So once the salesman gets you on the hook, he takes you back to his desk to talk numbers. As we all know, this can be an annoying back and forth process where you tell the salesman how much you want to spend, they run to their manager in the back, they yap about basically nothing because they already know what their price is going to be. Then the salesman comes back to you, provides you the new numbers, and this goes on and on until you agree on a price. Now, if you're not paying cash, this is where the greatest trick comes into play, the monthly payment. For some reason, our simple little brains are only concerned about short-term pain. And we will do.
This is what I don't get. Why do people stretch it out to like 85 months? Probably longer, like 86, I don't know, 86 months or like 96 months, 120 months. Why do you do that? You're paying so much interest. Like compound interest goes both ways. If you extend the time, that's more interest that you're paying over time. If you have to stretch it out that much just to make the monthly payment, I don't think you should be getting a car. The best way is to buy a car cash right away, and the only other expense is insurance. If you're paying, like, I knew a guy back then. He's like, "Oh, I'm only paying 8% on this E-Class Mercedes." I'm like, 8%? What the hell? That's hella high. He said only. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Everything we can to avoid it. This includes spreading out the cost of an item over a certain
Look at
number
that.
of months
That's
to
insane.
avoid paying the full amount today. This is the same thing as the buy now, pay later programs I mentioned in this video, but with a car, it can get even worse. Let me show you the car math that schools never teach you, but dealerships know completely by heart. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in the first year, another 15% in year 2, and 10% more in year 3. Meanwhile, on an 84-month loan, you're only paying about 12% per year towards the amount you owe. The rest is all interest. This creates an equity gap that leaves.
That's what you call a underwater loan. It's like you owe more on the car than what the car is worth. And to get out of that loan, you have to pay the difference. It's like owing, all right, I'm gonna give some even numbers. Let's say you owe 100 grand on a car and the car is only worth 80. You have to pay 20,000 just to get out of it. Why? Because the inflation, or no, not the depreciation is much greater than how much you're paying. So like, let's say the first year depreciates 30K, right? And you only paid 15. You owe 15K on it. Like, you didn't pay it yet. And to get out of that loan, to stop paying it altogether, you have to pay that 15K. It's insane. It's double-edged sword. That's why I'm so cautious with cars. It's not an asset anymore. Well, it's never was, but it's a liability. It's a huge liability.
Most buyers owing $7,000 to $10,000 more than their car is worth by year 3, which is why nearly 1 in 4 trade-ins involve negative equity from the previous car. Basically, people are stuck in a debt spiral with no real way out. So let's look at an example. This is a 2025 BMW 3 Series that's listed for $50,000. If you were to put down 10%, which is pretty standard for auto loans, you would pay $5,000 today, which means your loan will be worth $45,000, which sounds somewhat reasonable. Your salesman will then suggest a 72-month loan.
Yeah, that's
and assuming
crazy.
the 7.5% APR we're currently seeing in the market, your monthly payment will sit at about $700.
That's pretty high, 7.5%. My car, I had the first car. I think it was like 0% or 1.9, 0.9. It was something extremely low. I'm like, why would I not take it? It's literally free money.
$180, not including tax.
If the interest is so low, just take the loan. Because the interest, if it's lower, like extremely low, it's actually like free money. But if it's like 7%, anything above like 6%, anything above prime, you shouldn't be taking. Even 7.5, that's insane.
Taxes and other fees. So for $5,000 today and $780 per month for the next 6 years, you too can drive off the lot with a brand new BMW. Only problem is you're not actually signed up to pay $45,000 over the next 6 years. In fact, if you pay your loan off over the next 6 years without missing a single payment, you will end up paying $56,160, which is over $10,000.
Also, if you try to pay it off early, sometimes they have a prepayment penalty. Like they charge you an extra fee for paying it off early. So either way, they make money, even if you pay it off early. You could probably find it in the fine print. Some of the loans don't have the payment penalty, but just by paying more upfront, like towards the principal, I'm not sure if you could do that on an auto loan, but if you pay more of the principal or a bigger down payment, it significantly decreases the interest.
dollars more than the original loan amount. And if you show any signs of resistance, the salesman might even lure you in with a lower monthly payment by extending the term of the lease to 84 months. So now you only pay $690 per month. But your total amount then comes out to $62,960 if you include your down payment.
Crazy.
And the truth is that BMW you drove off the lot just dropped 10% of its value, and it will never be worth $62,000. You see, dealers have mastered the art of psychological manipulation, and they like to use three main tricks. The first is referred to as the 4-square method, where they will intentionally confuse you by juggling 4 variables at once: purchase price, down payment, monthly payment, and trade-in value. All designed to make you pay more and not really
Yeah, they actually do this. While buying my car, they always do this.
Realize what's going on. They will write in big letters, scratch things out, flip the paper over, and write over previous numbers.
All you have to know is purchase price, right? All you have to know is purchase price and the interest you're given. And they be given some crazy promos on interest. Like if you look on, I mean, I don't know about now, interest kind of crazy, but if you look on like Toyota or Honda, sometimes they got 0% APR. 0%. It's free money. But still, if you can't afford it, don't take it. But monthly payment, that's like, you don't have to worry about it as long as you have the cash. It's like, as long as the rate is good, monthly payment doesn't matter. It's monthly payment only matters for if you're, I mean, I don't know why some people do it. It's like, oh, I can't afford the car. Let's stretch it out as long as possible. I don't care about the interest. That's just insane.
Pretty much just to wear you down and make you sign. The second trick they use is called the time pressure close, which is the art of making the deal you're being presented.
They also always say like, oh, we have a lot of people interested in this one. I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, we only have 2 left, or we only have 1 left. You have to buy it now. Full of shit.
It is only going to last for so long. They might even say that the deal is only available today, or that they have someone coming in this afternoon to look at the same car, all in the hopes that they will pressure you into making a decision.
They say that every time. Just say okay, and then go to another dealership. Doesn't matter. Sometimes just traveling dealership to dealership, you save like 2-3 grand just for a couple hours of driving.
Not lose out to someone else. And finally, the third trick they use is focusing all of your attention on the monthly payment. By steering the conversation away from the total price and towards the monthly payment, they're able to hide thousands in extra costs. For example, they can raise the price.
That's the worst one you can focus on. Like, yeah, it's like you're focusing on one thing while a bunch of bullshit is happening in the background. You have to pay attention to everything.
To the vehicle, but lower the monthly payment by stretching the loan from 3 years to 6 years. By only focusing on the monthly payment, they're hoping that you don't realize that you just went from a 36-month payoff period to 72 months. All they want you to know is that your monthly payment went down by $100. So why do we do it? Why do Americans spend so much money on cars? Well, it's partially out of our control. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a perfect storm in the car market, driving prices to levels we've never seen before.
Yeah, that's how I sold my car at a profit. That's insane. Never again will that happen. But also, all of this, it's all for ego. Like, everyone wants the next, the newest car. Everyone wants the newest, the flashiest, the fastest car. And people don't want to seem like they're falling behind. It's all about ego. Like, everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses, and it just pushes the market higher and higher.
Pandemic, the supply of cars fell off a cliff due to computer chip shortages. The factories weren't making any new cars and the car lots began to empty out. This drove the supply of cars into the ground and the demand began to skyrocket, leading to even higher used car prices, especially with all the families moving out of the big cities into more suburban areas where they couldn't rely on public transportation as much. On top of that, inflation was close to 9%. So your dollar had almost 10% less buying power than it did in 2019.
You ever think how much more land we will have if we just all use public transport? You know how many houses we can build on it? You know how many other like amenities we can build? Or even like there's a post. It was like how many people fit in a bus versus like a bunch of cars. It takes up the whole road while everyone can fit in one bus. But that's how we're marketed, and since we built all this infrastructure of roads, we can't stop. We cannot stop, even though it's massively inefficient.
So as buyers, things were more expensive than ever, and our dollars could not keep up, leading us to where we are today. Spat out the other side of the pandemic with $1.6 trillion in auto
That's
loan
a
debt.
lot
So
of money.
what can we do to solve this? Well, if you're already in debt on a car,
I always wonder, where do cars go when it's like 500,000 miles or 1,000,000 miles? Where does that car go? Does it just go to the junkyard? Do people replace the engine and keep it on the road? It's interesting.
you first need to figure out how much debt you have on the car. So first, let's assess the damage. Going back to our BMW example earlier, let's pretend that we bought that BMW 3 Series in 2021 for $50,000, and now in 2025, we have paid off 3 years of that 84-month loan. In total, we paid the $5,000 deposit plus 36 months of payments at $690 or $24,840 total, meaning we still owe another $33,120 on the loan. We then head over to Kelley Blue Book to find the value of the car, and it looks like our 2021 BMW 3 Series is only worth about $28,000. We are now officially negative on our loan, or underwater as the industry calls it. We still have $33,120 left to pay, and if we sold the car today, we'd only get about $28,000, which means we are $5,120 underwater on our loan. Obviously, not great, but we now know what we're working with. So what do we do now? The first solution you might turn to is refinancing. This is basically the act of selling your loan to a new bank that will provide you with new terms, potentially making your monthly payment less in the long run. More specifically, if your credit score has improved a lot since you opened the loan, or if interest rates have dropped.
Honestly, I'm thinking, what if you buy a used car? Like that same 2021 BMW? If you buy it used around this time, 2025, the depreciation should have plateaued, like evened out, because there's only so much a car can depreciate. Like it's not gonna go to zero, but a lot of cars, depending on what kind, especially like enthusiast cars, like sports cars, they tend to hold their value really well. Or like Toyotas, Hondas, they're reliable, they're sought after. Sought after cars hold their value really good. So it's like, once it plateaus, you're definitely paying more off than how much it's gonna depreciate. So you're not gonna go underwater on the car. But to what extent? What type of car? Like if you buy a used supercar for $100,000, it's not gonna move too much because people are still looking for supercars. People are still in the market for those. Not everyone, but the price has a bottom, and it's not going to go anywhere lower than that.
Drop significantly, refinancing might make a big difference for you. But if you're underwater on your loan by over $10,000, or if your car is old and high mileage, most lenders won't even bother trying to refinance for you. So it's really not a solid option to rely on. Other than refinancing, there are a few ways to get out of the mountain of debt you are building, but none of them are going to be easy. First, you could sell the car today and just swallow the loss before it gets any worse. The pros of this is that it's a clean break, but you need to have the cash to cover the loss, or potentially pull out another loan to cover the loss, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend. Second, you could trade the car in for a much cheaper car and set up a new financing plan on that car. This would get you into a cheaper car. You could roll off some of that negative equity into the new loan, but it will also dig you deeper into debt, starting you back at square one on a new loan. The third option is to completely lock down your budget and go as hard as possible to overpay your monthly payments and crush the balance as fast as possible. This requires the most work and
or just a thought, don't buy something you can't afford. Don't buy something with insanely high interest rate. Just a thought.
discipline, but if you're willing to do it, it can save your credit in the long term and eventually pull you out of this endless cycle of debt. There's also a fourth nuclear option that should only be used in times of crisis because it can have some serious impacts on your financial future, and that is voluntary repossession. You can take your car back to the lender and willingly hand over the keys, which would immediately end your payments, but completely destroy your credit score. As you can see, this is not an option you would want to end up at, but if it's all you've got, then it's what you have to do. When it comes to debt like this, it can be overwhelming, but the longer you wait, the more your car value will drop and the harder.
There's definitely still cars out there that are like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, like something people can afford with cash. But no, people want to go out and try to get financing for a $20,000, $30,000 car. Sometimes even more, like $50,000 for no reason. And what do? Just use the car normally? Like what? You spend let's say you spend an hour commuting there and back. That's like what, 10% of your day, but you spend half your paycheck on it? It just doesn't make sense. Probably more than half your paycheck.
Will be to get out of debt. So make the best decision you can today and just get moving. If you're in need of a car right now, here's a simple 3-step plan to get you into the dealership. This will help you, 1, get pre-approved financing from an external
credit
bank
union
before you walk into
Try to go for a credit union. They give the best rates
the dealership. This will help you calculate your all-in monthly cost, including insurance, to your 10 rule. A 20% down payment, a 4-year loan term, and keep the monthly payment below 10% of your monthly income. To make it easy, I linked a simple calculator. The total amount of your payment changes in interest, even to walk away at any time.
Guys, go on Edmunds true cost of ownership and type in your car, or on Google, and it'll tell you your car's 5-year ownership. It'll tell you like the depreciation on your car, the fuel, the maintenance. Did I say depreciation? Well, depreciation. What else is on there? Insurance, like estimated. It'll tell you most of the cost of the car, because the cost of ownership, you think, oh, it's just the monthly payment of the car. No, you forgot insurance, depreciation, gas, maintenance. There's a lot more that goes into a car than just the monthly payment.
The future of car ownership is to be determined. With some instability at the beginning of the year due to tariffs, prices haven't really come down yet.
I think this year prices are going to drop because, dude, what was it? Like 100K for a Ford F-150? Ford F-250? 100K? These are for like blue collar workers. Where are they getting 250K or like 100K from? 150K. The cars are not moving.
Although with the current trade talks, we're seeing some cracks starting to form, and if demand dries up like it has been recently, the prices will eventually be forced down. So if you're in the car market for a car, new or used, and have the ability to wait, that's what I would do. In fact, that is exactly what I am doing as someone who is looking to trade in an older, high mileage car that is getting close to its last leg. Analysts are currently expecting interest rates to drop between 0.5 and 1% by midsummer 2025, which could also save you $30 to $60 per month on a typical loan. And by the end of 2025, new car inventory is expected to increase by 15 to 20%, which will also put some pressure on prices, likely driving them lower. So if you can wait 6 to 12 months before buying, you'll likely end up with a better deal. At the end of the day, a car that you're going to drive daily is not an investment, it's just an expense. But if you don't want that expense to end up driving you into mountains of debt, take your time when making the decision. And
here's what I don't get. If company makes millions of cars and they don't sell it, the inventory rolls over until next year. What happens to those cars? Does the manufacturer take it back? What do they do with it? Or like what about the old inventory? Like what? There's another video. there's a car dealership. They have a bunch of 2024. It's now 2025. They have a bunch of 2023, 2024 cars that are just sitting on the lot. They try to mark it down, but no one wants it. They have to take a loss on it. Or they could just use it as like company vehicles, test drives, whatever it is. They just keep it at the dealership. What do they do with those cars? Because it's outdated, but still new, I don't think anyone's going to pay new prices. If you sell it as used, then the dealership is taking the 20-30% loss. Kind of confusing. But yeah, that's the car loan trap. I'll see you guys in the next one.